Hey, we are on Unit 9. This is topic number 3, and today we're going to learn how to graph a quadratic function starting in factored form. The first thing that it says at the top of this is just a reminder. It says that ZPP, we learned this in topic 2, ZPP is used to find the zeros, in other words, the x-intercepts of the function. What we said in topic 2 is that means that when we use ZPP and we get an answer, x equals some number, it means we can write our answer like this: whatever that number is, comma, 0. That's an x-intercept. All right, so step number 1, we are given a quadratic function in factored form right here, f of x, and step number 1 says to use ZPP to find the zeros, or the x-intercepts. So I'm going to do exactly what we did last unit, or last topic. I'm going to take x plus 5 and set it equal to 0 and solve. Subtract 5, I get x equals negative 5. That means I can write my answer like this: negative 5, comma, 0. There's 1. Then I'm going to do this one. X minus 1 equals 0. Add 1, x equals 1. And I'm going to write my answer like this: 1, comma, 0. Use ZPP to find the zeros. Done. Step number 2, plot the zeros. All right, let's go over to our graph. Plot our zeros. Negative 5, 0. 1, 0. Okay, now we have 2 points. Now, something to remember about quadratics is we know that they make a U shape, either like this or like this. I already have 2 points of my U shape, so what I'm going to do next is step number 3, find the axis of symmetry halfway between the zeros and graph it with a dotted line. So to do that, I'm going to look at my zeros, and I'm going to count how many spaces are between them. This is negative 5, this is 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. I'm going to cut that in half, and I'm going to count. So half of 6 is 3. 1, 2, 3. And I end up right here at negative 2. I'm going to draw a dotted line at negative 2. My axis of symmetry is at the x value of negative 2. I'm going to write that. X equals negative 2. All right, this is helping me. I know what's going on now. I also know that my vertex is always in the middle of that U shape. So my vertex is somewhere on here. I have to figure out where. How I do that is I use this x value of negative 2, and I know that that's going to be the x value of my vertex. So I'm going to take that x value, I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to put a question mark here because we're going to figure that out. It says the axis of symmetry gives us the x value. Now that means that negative 2 is an input, and to find the y value, I'm reading from right here, to find the y value, plug in the x value. So I'm going to plug in negative 2. I'm going to plug it in, look all the way to the very top in blue. I'm going to plug it in to this function. So I'm going to write here f of negative 2 equals, and I'm going to plug in a negative 2 everywhere where I see an x. Negative 2 plus 5, negative 2 minus 1. Now my answer will be f of negative 2 equals negative 2 plus 5 is positive 3, in parentheses. Negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. So I have 3 times negative 3. That gives me this. F of negative 2 equals negative 9. And now what that means is that the x value of negative 2 produces an output of negative 9. I'm going to write it like a point. Negative 2, comma, negative 9. Plot that point. Negative 2, negative 9 should go right here is where I just plotted it. Negative 2, negative 9. So that is my vertex. And I'm actually going to label that point vertex. Write the word vertex right there. All right, next, we're almost done. I have a really good idea of what this is going to look like, but I'm going to find one more point. I'm going to find the y-intercept. The y-intercept is very easy to find because the y-intercept always has an x value of 0, which means that we're going to do the same exact thing, except for my x value here, my input is 0. So I'm going to plug in 0, 0. Instead of x, I'll plug in 0 and 0. And that's going to lead me to, I'm going to rewrite this like this. F of 0 equals, okay, 0 plus 5 is 5 in parentheses. 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Okay, let's write this final answer. We get f of 0 equals 5 multiplied by negative 1 is negative 5, which means I get the point 0, comma, negative 5. All right, we're almost done. We're going to take this point 0, negative 5 that we just got and plot it. So I'm going to go up to my graph, and I'm going to find 0, comma, negative 5. So 0, negative 5 would be right here. I'm going to put a point there, 0, negative 5. And the first thing I notice is that I know this is my axis of symmetry. I have 2 points on the right and only 1 point on the left. I'm missing a point here. So I'm going to find that point by looking at the point I just found, counting to the axis of symmetry. 1, 2 spaces. And then starting here and counting 1, 2 spaces to the left. And you should have a point right at negative 4, comma, negative 5. I'm going to plot that point. That's like, I call that the partner point. Now let's connect these. It makes a U-shape arrow on both sides. Okay, let's just look at what we had. I think we already answered these, but question 6 says, use symmetry to find another point on the graph. We did that. Let's write the coordinates of that point we found. It was negative 4, negative 5. So let's write negative 4, negative 5. And then lastly, it says fill in the table with the points. So it says to fill in the points from left to right. So I'm going to pick the furthest point to the left, and that is negative 5, 0. So I'm going to write negative 5, 0. And then I'm going to move to the next point, which is negative 4, negative 5. And then the middle point is the vertex, negative, oh wait, I did that right? Wrong. Negative 2, negative 9. That's the vertex. And then the next point would be 0, negative 5. And then lastly, what is it? 1, 0. And what you're looking for when you're all done is a couple things. First of all, our vertex should be in the middle. And then we have some symmetry. Our symmetry has to do with these repeating y values. So the zeros are 2, I like to like this, from negative 9, 2 spaces up I get a 0, 2 spaces down I get a 0. Alright, so that just shows some symmetry. It is a lot of information we did today, so when you do your homework, that's homework number 3, you have to make sure that you look at your notes when you're doing your homework, and the answers to your questions should be explained on your notes if you look at them carefully. Alright,